Hey, thank you for letting me share what I did on my car. It's highly sophisticated, and I hope out of this presentation you get a couple things. One, a little bit of humor, a little bit of trivia. That's where the audience participation starts, except for Barnacle and a couple others that know the answer. Okay, and hopefully there's something you can take away from it. And I share this picture because I'm often confused as Larry Bird when I travel, especially when I wear sunglasses. So at a break another time, I can tell you some funny stories where I told people I was actually Magic Johnson and they believed me. So let's go to the next slide. By the way, that was my wife, Karen. Here, I want to provide a little background. You know, when we talk about cars, I'm always interested, where did the car come from? How'd you get it? That kind of thing. And here's my story. My brother and I inherited my dad's 1929 two-door. He called it Henry. And I can't tell you how many people, license plate says 29 Henry. How many people go, who's Henry? I kid you not, it's so funny. But it had an off-the-frame restoration in 1988. And since then, I don't think much had been done. So I'm slowly bringing things up to speed and learning as I go. Because as I tell people, Steve knows this, I had my head off 6 times trying to figure out what was going on. I got it fixed. The last engine I restored was a lawnmower in high school. That was a full restoration. So you'll find that my PowerPoint skills are better than my mechanical skills when I'm ramping up the mechanical part. By the way, I live out by Maple Lake, Annandale on Sugar Lake. And so I go to Gearhead Get Together, if you're not familiar with that. I'm probably the only Model A that's not a rat rod or street rod that's there. But if you're into cars, there was over 2,000 cars there. You can come and go as you want. It's the 3rd Saturday in August. It's phenomenal. Free, no cost. You pull in, come and go, walk around. My brother that owns the car with me, I tell him he's a golden retriever because he has to go up and sniff and lick and pee on every car there. And I go, Mark, there's 800 cars that way and another 400 that way. So anyway, that's my story. That's the 29 two-door that I have. So let's go to the next one. So, but first, trivia. I told you there's trivia coming, and this is my little picture as I'm driving down the road and kind of playing with my gas adjustment valve and my spark and trying to figure out how to really fine-tune that thing. So, let's go to the next one. Okay. No, it's not, the trivia is not about how many U-turns Steve Barnacle makes on an annual basis. I thought I'd get more laughs out of that. From it. But I've been to his garage. I go, Steve, what's this U-turn thing? And he's told me every time I go in there, what's this U-turn thing? So I keep cranking it in there. All right, let's go to the next one. Rather, you want to click on it again, Jerome. Okay. How tall is Rob Gusaas? That's my wife, Karen. For perspective, this is in Denali National Park in Alaska. I thought that would help you with the mountains to kind of figure out. And just another thing, I wore the same zipper sweatshirt just so I could look the same. So 1, am I 6'9", 2, am I 6'5 3/4, 3, am I 7'1", 4, am I 5'9", 5, am I 6'11.5". Anybody have any guesses? 2.
I didn't see it ducked under the.
I'm hearing 2. Anybody else? 1, 5, 3. All right, let's go to the next one. We'll give the answers. Whoa, I had to insert this. How do you measure yourself against other Model A mechanics? By height. By the way, I have this certificate in my garage as well. I'm a certified YouTube mechanic. I have spent hours watching YouTubes. So Phil Shim, that was phenomenal. I looked at a lot of YouTubes. Okay, so here's the answer. There's no prize to give up. I am 6'9".
Oh, okay.
And that's my family, my grandkids, but just to give you perspective, my wife's 6 foot, my daughter-in-law is 6'3", my son's 6'10", and my 97-year-old mother-in-law is, I don't know, 5'8". But I also had to incorporate my certificate of PowerPoint skills because you'll see I'm a little bit better at that than anything else. Okay, let's go to the next one. So what's the issue? You can't really see it up there, but it's what's the issue. I'm really crunching that two-door. When I drive, my clutch is suppressed a bit because my steering wheel is jammed against my leg, against the door. And if you're sitting next to me, I'll say, okay, move, because I'm going to shift and have to have my leg over there. And Russ, we were talking earlier, hopefully you can appreciate that. So let's go to the next one. Oh, I forgot one thing. Steve asked me to talk slow so he didn't have to come after me, but I'm still talking at my rate anyway. Anyway, let's go to the next one. So here's the project. Develop a mechanical driver's seat to accommodate anybody 5'8". My friend Dan is 5'8". I let him drive my car once in a while. The 6'9" that I am, so they could drive Henry. Something that only takes seconds to change and record versus requiring tools. Okay, and that was my inspiration. Somewhere I saw that on the internet, and I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I stored it for a couple of years and pulled it out, and I went, how do I do this? All right, so let's go to the next one. So first I went, what am I going to do? So I measured the seat, and it's 15 inches across in the back, 15 inches this way, but only 12 inches this way. And you go, well, why does that matter? Well, if you put tracks, you got to have them, you know, same measurements, right? So, and this is not my car, but it's a picture of a car, and you can imagine me climbing in this tight little accommodation and driving down the road. And that's not fun. I'm probably a safety risk at that point. All right, so let's go to the next one. Isn't that a cool effect there? Hey, wait, there's more. So I found mechanical adjustment brackets on Amazon, of all places. I wasn't sure how much they're going to cost, what they're going to look like. And this was last year, they might have gone up, but for 55 bucks, I found these mechanical adjustments and I bought them. Now, there's a couple cool things about it. If you go to the next slide. When your neighbor has to pick up your package and it comes from Speedway Motors, I was feeling pretty cool. She goes, wow, what'd you get from Speedway? It goes for Henry. Oh. You know. So let's go to the next one.
Seat width 3.25 inches.
Yeah. Here's the key. These adjust 7 inches backwards and forwards with this mechanical lever. That's quite a bit. You'll see a picture I have here. Now, obviously a two-door, I go back 7 inches. There's not a hell of a lot of room behind me, but my granddaughter's still only 4.5, so she fits just perfectly there. So that's just a picture and gives you some of the dimensions. So the third step is remove the seat, obviously. And, you know, I'm a real smart guy. I take the seat out. If you look closely, I didn't vacuum or make it real pretty. And here's a picture of what I had before. I had bought some seat adjusters that let the seat go back maybe 3 inches from one of the houses. I don't remember where.
Offset.
Was that?
Offset.
Yeah. And then my friend and I, he's an engineer, we said, what if we made another set so we can get back further? So that's what that garbage is over there, which works great, except for when he wants to drive the car now, you have to adjust it and it didn't slide. And it was really, plus the seat was down a little bit. So we said, heck with that. But anyway, I took the seat out. We'll go to the next one. I'm making sure I have all these slides so Warnacle can go through each step as he wants to recreate these. Remove the hardware. And then one thing I did is I flipped the tracks, which you kind of go, why? And I'll show you in a minute. But I had to then drill holes because your posts in the back are at 15 inches, but this keeps them parallel to each other, okay? We'll go to the next one. And that just shows the studs where they had to flip them, but there was an issue there. When I put them through the wood, I couldn't attach the nut. They're not long enough. So we came out with a solution for that. So we'll go to the next one. Isn't that kind of cool, floating bird?
You're not worthy, you're not worthy.
Let me get a picture of that. So this looks like the attachment that goes to the bottom of those seats. What we did is we literally welded 2 nuts together on top, and then oh, that's just him welding. I don't know how to weld. I watch these guys that weld and do the metal lathe, and I'll find somebody. But anyway, we did a little fabrication there to make these fit, and you'll see the next picture here. We had to countersink the hole, and this is that nut that we welded on, and that will allow us to attach the rails upside down. And then you attach the wire, because then it allows both to slide, and they both lock when you slide them. Again, 7 inches, and it's worked out beautiful. I will tell you that for me. Okay. That's another good one, huh? Jerome, you're getting down.
I'm just gonna leave.
So then what I did is I added a plate and I rounded the corners, added back the original hardware, attached the plate to these rails. I put the original studs that used to be out, I put them on the rails as well. And that then really set up really nice. So we'll go to the next one.
Sorry, that was interesting.
So this is my friend Dan, the engineer. Him and I were working on this. And he was testing it out. We reinstalled the seat. He tried it out, went backwards and forwards. And then later he said, you have to teach me how to run this again. I don't remember how to start the car. So I'll do that later. But that worked out pretty well. You can see my thumbs up I put in there as well. So let's go to the next one. So this is how it looks like when I sit in the car. It's got this aluminum plate here, and that allows me to slide the seat back, and you can see the difference between the seat, the passenger seat. I still can flip it because it's on the hinges if I need to. The other thing, it sounds funny, but in a Model 8, there's not a lot of space to store anything, right? I think that my next move is I'm going to drill a round hole right here. That way I can put my beverage in the cup holder. I mean, it sounds funny, yeah. But I actually have one that comes off the dash, but I don't like it. So I'm going to drill a hole there. That's going to be the next maneuver. So the point is here, it works well. Of course, mine's a two-door, and I'm a tall guy. And now I can drive the car comfortably. And my family loves this car, Henry. And you'll see a picture of my granddaughter in a minute. Go ahead.
I just want to know, if you put a cup down there and then you move forward with the seat, what happens?
Time for another slide transition. So summary, not too hard to install. Didn't need to take apart the lower bottom of the seat. Critical to ensure the distance between the brackets are correct, so it slides properly. We did need to fabricate the nuts to attach the mechanism, and then also that plate we secured. And here's one of my joys of my life. This is Clara Jane, 4.5, and she looks at my phone and she finds a picture of Henry, and she goes like this, I just love Henry. But Grandpa, Henry's sleeping till spring, and in spring, summer, and fall, Henry goes out and drives, and Henry goes to Dairy Queen. But she was loving life because there's right now. I'm also looking at putting retractable seat belts in there. I want to add some safety, But she's loving life. She's not in the car seat. She's in the back of the 29 two-door going to Dairy Queen. Who doesn't like it? Any questions so far? Yeah.
How is it for sliding forward and back? Are you skidding on those two back posts?
No, it actually rides.
The whole thing rides.
Yeah, seat rides on that because the way that I have it set up. Yeah, Ron.
You said you and your brother own the car. How tall is your brother?
He's a little shorter. He's about 6'8". But he has a 31 coupe that he hasn't driven. He's having back problems. And I'm waiting for the day where he goes, Rob, buy my coupe, which there's been nice guys in this group go, hey, you want to buy a car? And one Model A for me is enough right now. But anyway, he's got a 31 coupe that's beautiful.
What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
What kind of statement is one?
Well, let me rephrase that. Let me reposition that. I could buy another car, and then who has a place I can rent? Because my wife will be, get out of here. So I have other toys.
I got a question back to that.
Yeah.
So you saying that plate stays stationary and it's just riding along the top of that plate?
Yeah.
So the plate is stationary, but you're riding on that plate.
These tracks are fixed, the posts are fixed, and underneath the way the mechanism, it just rides back and forth.
So it's never wear in a car.
No.
Okay.
I don't believe so. I should look at that. Honestly, I haven't moved it since I installed it, so. Any other questions? Yeah.
You and I are going to have some fun at some point. Storing a 1930 Model 8 panel delivery. And the seats are set up just like that, but there's a wrinkle. I've got a board that's behind the seats. I don't want both seats to move, I just want the driver's seat to do what you're talking.
Yeah.
Because I do have some tall friends around.
Yeah.
that I would love to have drives, anybody else, by the way, we've done with it. Because having a panel delivery means you don't see any of them.
Yeah,
And I certainly wanna do something with an adjustable seat.
well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad this was a value for some of you guys to see this. For me, I thought, who wants to see this? I'm the only guy that's real tall, but.
I also have a 6-way power seat in my 20.
Was that stock?
It's 6 volt.
I have been asked many times to do a clinic on it. When you open the door, you don't see it, but the controls are right down,
Yeah,
where your cup holder is.
yeah, future cup holder. Got to accessorize.
I get the same distance that you do,
Oh, cool.
plus I get
Tilt, yeah. That runs.
How much taller is your seat and did that affect you with your steering?
The seat's the same height. I mean, they look maybe a hair taller because of the rails. Because you got the posts that come up and attach the bottom of the seat. I've got to go back if you can.
Trying to.
I'm gonna show you. So the original posts come up, attached this aluminum, and it's just the height of these rails. That's the only difference. But before, when I had those stupid adjustments, my seat was down almost on the floor. I put a 2x4 underneath it because I just didn't like how it was setting up. This is much more comfortable for me. It's worked very well for me.
If you look at the other seat, it looks like you're much taller.
Well, I think it might be, I don't know, not too much. Not material in my world.
That's really a clean install.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it was one of those where one day my friend Dan and I said, hey, I had the mechanism. And I said, let's fool around with this. And we should probably spend the afternoon thinking around. And, if you really put your mind to it, probably be done in just a couple of hours. But we probably had a beer and then went, oh, well, let's do this now. I don't know. But I took pictures because somebody said, hey, you may want to do a clinic on this someday. So again, I hope yeah.
How, have you run it for a season or 2 seasons? How much time have you been in it?
Not much. I had it done, I think, last September. And I drove till maybe December and then I put the car away, then I broke it out again, but I haven't moved the seats. That's the good question is what happens there? I can't remember where I put it.
Because with your almost 7 feet of height, when you slide back, your weight's kind of in the back.
Yeah.
Do you have any, is there any like flexing in the floor?
No, it feels very secure to me. It feels no different when the seat was in its original position. It's been great. What I had before, I felt a lot of flex because I had 2 sets of things that would kind of move even though they're tightened with wrenches, and they seemed to make sense at the time, but they weren't very functional.
That's great.
Well, thank you. It's one of those, like I said, it's just a small thing, but my next thing on Henry is I gotta put a right tail light on. I bought one of those other LED lights that go in the back window. I have the bicycle lights for turn signals that you charge up, and then I lost the USB plug, which I have about 1 million of those things to charge it, but it's a 4-prong thing to charge it. So then I was gonna buy a regular tail lights or signals, and then I said, nah, I found it, and so I'm back to what I have. But I got a few small projects to work on Henry. But right now it's Dairy Queen season coming up, so thank you very much. That's the end of it. If you have any other questions, let me know. Don't forget your dental pick, whoever had that.
Thank you very much. I wasn't sure what this was gonna be, and I've been thinking about it as I did the back of the room. Like, how am I gonna say this without sounding wrong?